she was born close to Ejisu, born into a royal family. Help us understand the place of Ejisu by way of the Asante political setup.
Okay. Traditionally, Asante's political setup can be broken down into three. We have the core Asante groups that form what is known as the Amantos and Son. So these are 7 groups. Historically, they were all considered to be brothers from the Oyoko clan, and close to the end of the 17th century, they migrated around the Adanse Ofin River area, right? So these groups organized themselves. They were loosely organized at that time, and they saw the need to come together because they were all under the control of Dintra, as we discussed yesterday. And it became necessary for them to come together to fight against Intim Jakari. And Ejisu wasn't part of these brothers as a group because they are not considered to be part of the Oyoko clan. They are all part of the Asona clan, right? Ejisu as well as Ofenso, they form part of the Asona clan. And at that time, Okonfanoche requested that before they go into war with Intim Jakari, there was the need for someone to be sacrificed to appease the gods before they could engage in war. So the Ejisu Hene at that time, Doku, opted to be sacrificed. And so he was executed, and Okonfanoche instituted or enacted that because of the sacrifice which Ejisu had made and contributed to their victory, nobody, no king from Ejisu should be executed either for sacrificial reasons or whatever reasons. So that introduced Ejisu into the core group, though originally Ejisu was not part of the brothers, but because of the sacrifice which the Ejisu Henedoku had done earlier, it introduced them into the core group. So throughout the 18th century into the 19th century, in terms of relations between Ejisu and then Asante, it had not always been cordial because the agreement was broken. There were Asante Hene who distilled some of these Ejisu chiefs because they had, and some of them had sold lands which did not belong to them, among other things. And others too were executed. So basically this agreement was breached. And with time, when the Asante Empire itself was disintegrating, we can talk about the Battle of Fomena. The Battle of Fomena, which occurred in 1874. This was at a time where in 1872, Asante defeated the British Army together with the Southern States. At that time, the Southern States, essentially the Fanti, Asin states, had united with the British. And they all sought to defeat Asante because Asante was a thorn in their flesh. And in 1872, Asante defeated the British and then the Gold Coast Army, essentially. So the British saw the need to revenge against them. And this time they hired mercenaries from all over West Africa, from Nigeria and all over Dahomey and all that, and brought them in. And in the Battle of Fomena, they succeeded in defeating Asante. But at this time, they did not go into a formal colonization treaty with Asante. It was just agreed that Asante will stay away from interfering in the activities of the southern states. They will clear the road and allow trade to flow along the trade routes and all that. And then they were also given a war indemnity for them to pay, about 50,000 pounds, ounces of gold they were supposed to pay as war indemnity.
You say supposed, is that to say that they didn't pay it?
They didn't pay all. They started paying, but with time they stopped paying. And that is what even led eventually to the colonization of Asante. Because as they demanded that Asante should pay this war indemnity, Asante wasn't willing to pay. So with time, Governor Griffin suggested that then they need to station a British officer in Kumasi to ensure, more or less like to supervise what happened in the Asante court. And the Asante at this time completely opposed it and prepared for war because they were not willing to allow a British officer to come into Asante and interfere in the activities of Asante.
And Yaa affairs. I don't want to focus on any other today than Yaa Asantewaa. Let's